Years ago, I was exactly like you. I was changing my bench press technique every single week. It felt so inconsistent. One session, it felt like I was really good at benching, it was really fluid. Then the next session, it felt like I forgot how to bench. I was watching all these influencers telling me to bench this way and that way, but it didn't really work for me, and I didn't really get much stronger as a result. And I ended up just getting frustrated, dropping the bench, and I said, fuck this, I'm going to go get strong at flat dumbbell press or something like that instead, right? And you can probably relate to that. So, in this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact bench press technique setup that has allowed me to bench press 160 kilos as a naturally skinny guy who couldn't even bench press the empty 20 kg barbell when I started. I'll show you how to do it so that you can get strong at the bench in half the time that it took me. If you want to learn how to implement this into a program, click the top link in the description and you'll see 3, 4, and 5 day options for you. Now, my full bench press setup, and I'm going to show it on screen to start the video so that you can watch exactly how I set up and execute a bench press. Now, this setup has been refined over like 10 years of training. I've watched all the strongest benchers, I've read the research, I've experimented, I've tried loads of different things to get to this point. Trust me, I've been in your position, I've been through like 10 different setups to get here. So I will lie down on the bench and I take my grip on the bar, okay? And I'll walk through every component of how to do this afterwards, where to take your grip and stuff like that. But I take my grip, I will then set my feet, I will pull myself forward, get the feet nice and wide after I've done that. Then I'm going about setting my arch, really driving my feet into the floor, making sure my grip on the bar is secure. Then I flare my elbows out to the side to unrack the bar. Once I've unracked it and I'm in position ready to press, I'm thinking about my touch point on my body. I lower the bar, I kind of relax my body a little bit, and then I explosively press the bar back using my legs, using leg drive efficiently to get the bar moving. Now, that's my full bench press setup. Now let's break down each individual component of that so that you can go and apply it to your own bench press and outbench me in no time. So, the first thing we need to think about is grip. Grip width and the actual type of grip that we take on the bar. Now, there's a lot of conversation about grip widths. Should I go wide grip, close grip? I'm going to make it super simple for you. Take a grip that produces a vertical forearm at the bottom of the lift. What does vertical forearm mean? This. Your wrist is stacked over your elbow. This is too close. This is too wide. And I'll show you an example on screen. This is a really good starting point. Why would you go with this grip? Simply because it's the most efficient position to press from. We want the joints stacked so that the force is going through the joints into the bar. If we're here, there's a moment arm. If we're here, there's a moment arm. I'm not going to bore you with moment arm discussions. It basically just means that you're wasting energy and it's less efficient. So we want the joints stacked. Once we start with this stacked joint position, then you can experiment with closer, wider, different arches and stuff like that. But for most of you watching this who are stuck between like 2.5 plates, maybe you're on the way to 3 plates, just start with a grip that produces a vertical forearm when you view your bench from the front and the back, okay? Now, how do we actually grip the barbell? So a lot of you are gripping the bar like this. You'll literally just take a fist and you'll grip the bar. And there's nothing wrong with that, really, and I did it for years, but there is a better way. So the reason is, when you grip the bar like this, usually what happens is the bar sits here quite high in the hand. Because it's quite high in the hand, it's further away from the wrist, and we get a little bit of a moment arm between the wrist and the barbell, which it just reduces efficiency. You're wasting a little bit of energy. And one problem that also happens is with this full grip position, the wrist tends to twitch on the chest, or we get a little bit more movement at the wrist than we would like. So you'll be coming down and the wrist is like breaking a little bit like this, right? And this isn't a great position to press from. Some of you will be good at keeping the wrist like this and you'll be strong in that position. Others of you are probably having this and you're having to use a wrist wrap to support that position, and it's just not ideal. So I suggest instead that you take a bulldog grip. I'm going to show a bulldog grip on screen. Basically, it just means that we're going to position the bar lower in the hand towards the base of the palm rather than up towards the calluses, and we're going to slightly internally rotate the hand. Then we're going to pinch the bar instead of fully squeezing it. And you might be watching this thinking like, that doesn't look very secure. Trust me, it is. I've benched like 160 kilos like this. You've got, I'm pretty sure like Julius Maddox even uses this grip at like 600 pounds. There's loads of strong benchers who use this grip. It's super secure. It gets the bar really close to the wrist joint. and it stops so much movement in the wrist, so much twitching. So give the Bulldog grip a go. Honestly, it really helped me out a ton, and I think it will help you too. So once we've got our grip width and we've got our actual grip on the bar, number 2 is foot position and leg drive. Now, there are 2 main types of foot position amongst like the stronger benchers, okay? Version number 1 is having the feet quite narrow, so quite close to the bench, and a little bit more forward. This is usually benefited by people who have a bigger arch, like they can really create that big arch in the back. They've got a wider grip and they've got like a really soft touch bench, in my observation. So you've either got the feet forward, narrow foot position, or the opposite of that, you've got the really wide foot position, slightly smaller arch, and the feet are really wide and far back. This is the one that I go for personally as a taller guy. I'm 6 foot and this setup has really helped me. I used to try that narrower foot position, but I just can't create a big arch. Like, I just can't do it. So having the feet quite narrow, it just didn't feel good for me. It felt like I was wobbling around and I didn't have a wide enough base of support. With the wider foot position, I feel really powerful. The hips feel really tight. I feel like I can use leg drive. I've got a nice wide base of support to press from. So basically what you would do here is you would aim to get the feet as wide and as far back as possible. So literally I'll set up and I'm trying to get the feet really, really wide. So I'll keep going until I can't possibly go anymore. Then I'll pull them underneath me, keeping the heels down on the floor, and just keep coming back, back, back until you can't go back any further. Now, this has also really helped me with stopping my ass coming up off the bench, because you want to get the hips so tight and the knees shoved out so hard that you physically can't bridge your hips up off the bench, and it's really helped me with that. Once my feet are in position, I'm just thinking about pushing myself back on the bench. So imagine that you would slide off the head of the bench if the weight wasn't pushing you down, okay? You can imagine even like leg pressing the floor in front of you away. That helps me. So once we got the foot position set, tip number 3, or part 3 of the setup, is the arch. Now, there's a lot of discussions about arching in the bench press online, and you'll get so many people typing like, oh, the arch is dumb, and why are you doing that? It's cheating. These people are idiots. Like, yes, we want to arch in the bench press. Every big bencher you see is trying to arch as much as they can. So why do we arch? 1, it reduces the range of motion a little bit so that we can lift more weight. It gets the shoulders down into a strong, stable position to press from. We don't want to be flat back with the shoulders hunched forward like this, because it's not going to be a strong position to press from. You're going to end up with the shoulders doing this, internally rotating loads at the bottom of the movement. Arching is the most efficient way to bench. We want to be in a strong position with the shoulders set down and back with a bit of an arch in the lower back. Yes, we can debate on those like super extreme arches, but you watching this video, you can't do it anyway. So what's the point in wasting energy on it? So get yourself an arch, and to arch, you want to think about lifting your ribs up to the sky. Okay, so try and get the ribs up nice and high, and you'll get that arch in the lower back. And then you basically just want to hold and maintain that through the lift, using your legs to reinforce it. So you set the arch, and then the feet maintain the arch, okay? Step number 4, we're going to do the unrack. And I see lots of you guys unracking inefficiently and wasting a ton of energy. A lot of you are trying to really press the bar out of the rack, and you're almost doing it in a 2-part movement where you're like, you press it out and then you pull it forward, and it's just a terrible use of energy, and you've wasted time, and like you've had to do like a half a rep to get it out of the rack. So instead, what I want you to do is I want you to, let's say you're in position to unrack the bar. I want you to flare the elbows, right? So that your forearm is stacked underneath the bar, and then you just pop it out. So instead of pushing it out and then dragging it forward, literally flare the elbow and just pop the bar out of the rack. That's all you need to do. Flare the elbows underneath the bar, and then you're in an easier position to press it out and get it into position. You want to bring the bar out so that it's directly over the shoulder joint. If you're forwards of the shoulder or backwards of the shoulder, you're having to use energy to kind of center the bar. So we just want it directly over the shoulder. Once you're in that position, step number 5 is the descent. Now, you want to bring the bar to the highest point of your arch. So usually for most people, that will be the sternum or like your top abs. It's going to be somewhere in that position. That might sound a little bit low to you because some of you might have been bringing the bar to like your mid chest or up here. And the problem is, once you bring it up here, you're kind of like pinned in this position where the elbows are really flared and it's not a very strong position. And then you get that pinching sensation in the shoulder and it just doesn't feel great. So try and touch the highest point of your arch. So around here, the sternum, the upper abs, and it's going to travel towards your feet slightly. So the bar is going to lower in like a J, like this, kind of in a curve. It's not going to be a straight up and down bar path. Slight curve forward, and then the bar path on the way back up is going to be the same. It's going to go back and then up. So we're going to lower it to the highest point of our arch, right around the sternum or the upper abs. And you want to lower the bar as fast as possible whilst maintaining control. So don't just dump it on the chest, but come down quite quick whilst maintaining the speed of the bar. You don't want gravity to do the work for you. You want to be in full control of it. I will often cue myself to take the bar down hard because I'm quite I rely on a sink and throw style bench. I'm not like a soft touch. I'll bring it down quite hard. And when I bring the bar down, I bring it down hard into my chest. And I almost do this movement. Let me try and show you. So I'm in position here, right? I've got my arch. I'm going to lower the bar and watch what happens. I kind of crunch over and my thoracic spine kind of flexes a little bit like this. And then when I press, I re-extend it. So this movement here. It looks a bit weird, but hopefully that makes sense. So I'm bringing it down hard, collapsing my thoracic spine, and then it's like re-extending it to press the weight. And a lot of the top benchers do this, like Dan Green, like Julius Maddox, people like that. They would literally collapse their body a little bit and then throw the bar off the chest. And it's been really beneficial for me. I've felt really powerful. I feel that it's like more of a full body movement. I'm not just relying on my arms. My legs are involved to use leg drive. My upper back is involved to kind of rebound the bar off my chest. So give that a try. And to kind of wrap all of that up, number 6 is the press or the bar path. Now, lots of you watching this video think that you need to be pressing in a straight line like this, up or down. And to be fair to you, the most efficient point from A to B is a straight line. You want to do your squats and your deadlifts like this in a straight line. The problem with the bench press is if we pressed in a straight line, we'd have to bring the bar down like up here, like upper chest. And like I said, it's not a good position to be like this trying to bench press heavy weights. Because of that, we want to bring the bar a little bit lower down here to the sternum. Also, because that's the highest point of our arch, it reduces the range of motion a little bit. But because we're bringing the bar down here, we need to press it back, okay? So the bar path will be like this, right? Say this is the bar here on your chest. It's going to go back and then up. The reason we press it back is because we want to get the bar straight back over the shoulders, because then they have to produce less force to complete the lift. Imagine if you were pressing from down here and trying to press straight forward. You're doing like a front raise as well as a press. But if we press back and then up, the shoulders have to do way less work, range of motion is lower, and it's a way more efficient lift, okay? So in summary, that is my entire setup, and I've showed it you on screen so that you can see exactly what to do and you can go and apply that to your own training. Give it a try, see if it works for you. If you want to learn how to implement that into a bench press program, top link in the description, there's a few programs there. Let me just finish off this video with a couple extra tips for the bench press that I feel like will really help you out as it relates to your technique. First thing is technique is very individual. Don't try and copy your favorite lifter because likely they're built very different to you. Even this video, don't copy it exactly. Go and apply some of the principles, see if they work for you. If they do, great. If not, use the ones that help and discard the ones that don't. Another tip is that using a belt can actually help a lot on the bench press. And I don't see many people using one of these. But it's the same kind of principle as your squat and deadlift. It allows you to create a lot of intra-abdominal pressure. For me as well, it stops my lower back cramping so much. But yeah, when I'm at the top of the lift, I take a big breath, I brace against the belt, and then I press. And it really helps me out to produce more force. On the note of breathing as well, one tip I would give you is that holding your breath on the bench press is really beneficial, especially for multi-rep sets. Like literally, I'll just take a breath at the top, and then I'll let it out at the top after a few reps, and it really helps to maintain position. Because think about it, if you kind of exhale at the bottom, like you're in this position and then you exhale, you're going to collapse. Chest collapses and it's just not a great position to press from. Another tip is if your butt comes off the bench, which I know a lot of you this happens to, get the feet wider and further back. I want you to get your hips so tight that you physically cannot get your hips bridged off the bench, okay? So if it's still coming up, feet need to go wider. And the final thing I would say to round out this video is once you land on a technique that works for you, you feel like this is a really repeatable, strong technique, write it down on a notes page. Literally write down like a step-by-step of your technique setup. So then when you get those days where your technique feels a bit rusty and you're like, I forgot how to bench, you can literally go back to that notes page, look through the steps, done. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, stuff like that, post them in the comment section down below and I'll get back to you. If you need another video on the bench press to help you out, go ahead, click this one here and that will help you to hit some PRs. But until then, thank you very much for watching and I'll catch you in the next one.